this is your podcast, One Life, One Story, where a special you shares your special story. Today we have Amit as the guest of the show. Amit is an IT professional right now working for an investment bank. He is a hardcore dog lover. He has been feeding around 50 to 60 dogs every day near his society since the lockdown started last year. Welcome to the show, Amit.
Thank you, Nirmala. Thanks for having me here.
Cool. So, since this episode is in connection with Pet Day, why don't you first start with your journey of loving and caring these animals or these pets, especially dogs? How did it start?
Okay. So, actually, we as a family never had a pet. Neither my immediate family, my brother and my mother, we never had a pet during my childhood. Nor did any of my cousins, etc., had a pet. So I remember my first interactions with dogs was when I went to a friend's place, and he had a Doberman as a pet. So Doberman by nature are very active dogs, and a person who's not used to them, who's not used to being around dogs, can get scared.
Right.
So I was terrified seeing that dog, so much so that he had a duplex house. uh, the moment I saw it, I just pleaded with him to keep him held tight, and
Mhm.
I just simply moved to the first floor of his house, and I said,
Okay.
lock him up first, and then you can come and talk to me. So I was so
How,
terrified.
how old you were at that time?
I must have been around 14, 15 years old. So
Okay.
yeah. So, and it so happened that, when I was in third year of college, my mother had a small surgery, and she was in hospital for 2 days. I was accompanying her. And when we came back, I saw that, there was a litter of pups next to our house. I became fond of one of them. That puppy was very fluffy compared to the rest of the litter. And
Okay.
I started calling him Golu, because he was very fluffy pup. And in a few days, I know when I went down, to get something, when I went down from my house, I saw that one of the small kids was holding that puppy, and it had a lot of it was bandaged up all over. So I asked him that what's wrong with this? What
Oh.
happened? It was Guru. So he said that it seems like he got run over by a car, or he was hit by somebody. But there was a bhaiya in the neighboring society. So he saw this puppy in pain, and he had taken him to the hospital, and he got his first aid done, and he left him back. So he was full of bandages, as if like his hurt was very bad. So I was really worried about him. I said that how will this puppy survive on the street on his own in this
Hmm.
condition?
Hmm.
So I noticed that that moment that kid, he kept him down
Hmm.
from his lap. It crawled in under a car, and
Oh.
that made me even more scared that this
Yeah,
will
yeah.
really get
Hmm.
run over. So I just I could not think of anything. I asked that kid to just hand over the dog to me. So I got the dog to my place. I told
Hmm.
my mother that I'm going to take care of him for 2 days until he gets better,
Hmm.
and then I'll leave him back.
Hmm.
So that day was a game changer in my life. So I noticed that
Hmm.
that innocent being was there next to my bed, on my bed next to me, and I saw that I felt a lot of concern and compassion and love for him, and throughout the night I kept awake. Whenever he would turn sides, I would be very alert, as if कि
Hmm.
इसको कुछ payment तो नहीं हो रहा है,
Hmm.
and I took care of him like a baby.
Hmm. How sweet. How
And
sweet.
so I took care of him for the next 2 3 days, and Golu got better. However, I was in no mood to let him go out. And
Hmm.
I saw that, even my mother, who was not a dog lover, she had also never interacted with dogs. She was a neutral person.
Hmm.
I saw that even she had grown fond of him for like in the last 2 days. So
Hmm.
when I said that, Mama, I want to keep him for another few days. So she said,
Hmm.
okay, fine, your wish if you want.
Hmm.
So then that 2 days became a week. And
Hmm.
after a week, there was no going back. He became a part
Okay.
of my family. So Golu became my first pet.
Okay.
And
So sweet.
yeah, it was a new journey for me, the beginning of a new journey for me. And what I felt with Golu was a feeling which I had never felt before.
Hmm.
I saw that, I used to be a very, very depressed and stressed child, in
Okay.
the college at that time.
Hmm.
So I used to take on a lot of stress and depression. Uh,
Hmm.
how I saw that, all of those negative feelings evaporating, and there
Hmm.
was a lot of positive energy I felt around in the house. The house had become
Wow.
very lively in a
Lively. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And my mother also had grown very fond of him. So Golu became a permanent pet. And then, in a matter of days, he grew up, and we, although like he lived for like 12 years, his full age, every phase of
Wow.
life,
Hmm.
we never felt that, we always felt that he was a child. And I used to call him baby till the last day of his
Hmm.
life, because dogs have
Oh,
that childish, innocent energy around them. And it was the
right.
most beautiful time of my life I had in those 12 years. And it brought about a lot of changes in my attitude, in the energy of the house, in my mother's attitude. We had become much more positive, and we
Hmm.
had started to be more in the moment, and to appreciate
Hmm.
simple joys of life. When we used to see that, this dog, he enjoys simple things, like, whenever we used to give him a pat, the way he used to wag his tail, when we used to give
Hmm.
him a treat which he had never tasted before, his reactions would, make
Right.
you think that, why are we not, enjoying life the way, he is.
Yeah.
So Golu passed away basically in 2009,
Hmm.
and his loss was like the loss of a child, because we were so close
Hmm.
to him.
I can understand. Hmm.
And my mother and me were like, no, we are not having another dog. We are not getting another dog, because when
Hmm.
having to see them go is too much, a
Hmm.
person can handle.
Hmm.
So I decided that, I will
Hmm.
not have another dog. But this decision was
Hmm.
to be challenged very soon. So in the year 2015,
Hmm.
so I came across this case wherein a Spitz dog was abandoned,
Hmm.
and it was called Lucky. It was a female,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the day, there was a family who was coming to see her to from the prospect of adopting her. She got run
Hmm.
over by a cab, and it was a very bad accident. And
Hmm.
one volunteer took her to the doctor, to one vet, who said that, there is no hope, the injuries are too bad, we should put her down. And
Oh.
somehow that lady did not lose heart, and she took her to a couple of places.
Hmm.
Everywhere she would go, she would get
Hmm.
the same answer that the injuries are too bad. So she took her to one very good hospital there called Cessna Lifeline. So it's a
Hmm.
very high-end hospital, and
Okay.
the doctors there gave her some hope. They said that we will immediately need to operate her and insert rods
Okay.
in her pelvis, and we don't give
Hmm.
a
Oh my
guarantee,
God.
but there are chances
Hmm.
that, she may bounce back.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that was the time, I felt my first connection with Lucky, and I started praying for
Hmm.
her to get better. I had not seen her. And so this lady, she asked for contributions towards her surgery.
Hmm.
And I made my first contribution. And within 10 minutes of making my contribution, I got a confirmation call from my company where I'm working today, saying
Hmm.
they have confirmed my candidature, and like they have confirmed my job there. and they made an offer which was more than what they had told me earlier. So I felt a karmic connection between, my uh,
Lucky is lucky for you.
and this job offer.
Yeah.
So that's where how my journey began with Lucky. And the
Oh,
doctor said that the metal plates which they had inserted, her body is not accepting those. So they
yeah.
had caused a very severe infection. So much so that in about a week's time she stopped eating. And the doctor said that we'll have to put her down because she's in too much of pain. So this was like I was in a state of denial that I'd been praying for this dog, and how could my prayers not be answered? So
Mm.
I decided to just meet her once before the doctors put her down. So I requested the doctors to let me just meet her once. So I
Mm.
went to see her at the hospital,
Mm.
and I felt a very very strong connection when I saw Lucky. I felt like just being with her, just holding her in my arms and praying for her. So I requested the doctors to give me one day to just allow me to pray for her and to be
Mm.
with her.
Mm.
So they said, okay, fine. Even the prayers poured out of my heart.
Mm.
And I asked the doctors that, is there something I could try to feed her?
Mm.
She had not been eating for the last 2 days. They said you could try, getting chicken soup for her or some yogurt or something. So in the evening, I prepared chicken soup for her and I got her. And she lapped up the entire bowl of soup. So that was my first sign of hope.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Nobody was expecting, but she had that full bowl
Mm.
of soup.
Mm.
So that gave me a lot of hope. So the
Mm.
next day again, I came with a full meal of chicken and rice, and she
Mm.
finished that. And she was much more active the second day. And
Mm.
that's when the doctors saw that, there is a hope here. So they
Mm.
said, we'll give her another chance. Good health.
Mm.
And the challenge now was that, it had been about uh, 10, 15 days, about 2 weeks. The
Mm.
volunteers who were initially connected with her, they started stepping away because they found
Okay.
that her condition required too much of attention. It would require a lot of commitment from her. However, my chanting group in Bangalore, they were a big support for me. So not only did they, help me financially to take care of Lucky, they also chanted a lot for her recovery. And I saw those prayers working, through her recovery path. And so it so happened that, I settled down in my new job, and in a couple of months, all the volunteers who were helping me, they backed out completely. And the only choice which was left for me was to call Lucky home. So basically, in the December of 2016, my chanting friends from Bangalore, they helped her to yeah, they basically boarded her in an aircraft, and I received her at Pune. So that's when Lucky became my daughter. She became a part of my family. And so
Mm.
she came home on Christmas 2016.
Okay.
And although my mother was, she did not knew about my plans of, adopting Lucky.
Mm.
And she was very hesitant when I told her that she's coming here. But the day she came, she was a different person with her. She welcomed
Mm.
her like her daughter has come to her house. And uh,
That's sweet.
yeah, and she lived with us. Lucky, unfortunately, she passed away in 2019 December. But the time she was with us, we saw a lot of good fortune coming our way. And my mother's health became better because of the emotional
Mm.
love she got from Lucky.
Mm. Mm.
So she was a source of lot of positivity, and
Wow.
she brought out a lot of compassion in us. She gave us a lot of love, and she took a lot of love from us. So she finally, left her body in the 2019 December.
Mm.
This lockdown happened last year, and
Yeah.
when lockdown happened, I saw that the dogs outside were suffering. They were not getting any food because
Mm.
dogs are dependent on humans for feeding. You
Mm.
know, you will find that uh, dogs are found only where humans live.
Mm-hmm.
They survive on the leftovers from from food stalls or from chicken
Right. Mm.
stalls, or if
Mm.
any kind soul offers some food to them. So they're
Mm.
dependent on that. But this
Mm.
lockdown which happened last year was the first of its kind, when everybody was, they were forced. It was a curfew like
Mm.
situation. Nobody was stepping out of their houses. So the dogs in the street had no source of food left. So that's when,
Mm.
the volunteers in Kharadi. So all the volunteers here decided to segregate, to divide,
Mm.
the Kharadi into slots, and
Mm.
they assigned each of the volunteers a responsibility for taking care of a certain slot.
Mm.
Since the lockdown last year, I have been feeding 50 to 60 dogs, every day.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So Amit, your journey, your story of your first dog, and about the story with Lucky. That's very, very, very touching. Very loving. I mean, speechless actually. Totally speechless. Lucky has been really lucky for you and for the entire family. I'm
Yeah.
sure, and
Yeah.
she has brought full of good luck and fortune to your family. That's really, really amazing. I think everyone should listen to your story with Lucky, and should get inspired from this story.
Thanks for the kind
So
words.
you're welcome. But there is a another side of the story also in the society. You would be knowing more than me that our society is full of people who are actually anti dogs or anti animals. What would
Yeah.
you like to tell to the society?
So, unfortunately, there are more dog haters in the society than dog lovers. However, the reason for that is, I would say, lack of exposure. The way, I said that, there was a time when I was scared of dogs. So what changed was that I got exposed to the other side of dogs. I got a chance to see that, dogs are so cute. They are so full of love. So I feel that, people need to open up to the idea of being with a dog, to at least try interacting with dogs. And me as a volunteer, we have offered this to me, as well as my other volunteer friends, have offered this to many people who we have interacted with, who were not dog lovers in the past, or who initially fought with us. We have actually offered this to them, that we will help you to get comfortable around dogs. And there are ways to do that. You can start with interacting with a puppy, and that, I'm sure, if everybody tries that, it's in a matter of no time, their feelings towards dogs and animals will change. When they experience the love of a dog, they would actually, start feeling very differently. Most people are, they hate them because they are scared of dogs. And fortunately or unfortunately, children, when we are young, we are very impressionable. And our parents don't realize, when they, tell us that, when you see a dog, you have to be scared, you have to hit it with a stone or stuff like that. It's very unfortunate, we have to grow up in an environment like that.
Hmm.
I feel that it should be made a part of curriculum of every school, that they should be taught lessons in compassion. And there are very simple ways to go about it. I feel that, if every dog, they start playing the role of fosters to young puppies, to small puppies,
Hmm.
uh, as long as they're less than 3-4 months old. So this would serve two purposes. One, the pups will be taken good care of. Second, the children will get to interact with such puppies, and so that when they grow up, they'll know that they are not something they need to be scared of.
Hmm.
They are bundles of
Correct,
joy.
correct.
They are
Yeah.
something which will give you a lot of love and protection.
much once again, Amit, for coming on this show. Indeed, we need selfless people like you who are doing such amazing things, such beautiful things for these lovely, selfless, homeless animals. I wish you all the best in doing all these noble deeds. I wish you more powers and more success to you. Thank you once again. Take care. Bye bye.